Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Childcare Director's Chair, where Erica Saccoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Childcare Director's Chair.
Hey guys, so thanks for hitting the play button today. And I'm sure that you have heard this before. I didn't know that was my job, or I thought Susie was going to do it, or I don't know. I thought I didn't have to do that. I didn't realize that was part of what you needed me to do. Or you didn't tell me that when you asked me to do XYZ. I didn't know that there was a timeline, right? You've heard all these things before. And so when we do and we let those slide, we will continue to get more folks who are not accountable for their actions. And the only way that things get done is when we do them to our best ability, we meet our timelines, and when we make mistakes, we're accountable for them. And I believe that directors should be equally accountable, not just the staff, right? Because there's a lot of throwing folks under the bus, and there are times that we don't follow through and don't do what we're supposed to, or maybe what we thought in our mind we were going to do, our staff perceived it differently, and they felt as though we weren't accountable or didn't walk the walk. So today we are going to talk about holding yourself and your staff accountable and creating that culture of accountability, because we know creating a culture of accountability is essential for any organization that wants to achieve sustained success. When employees are held accountable for their actions, they're more likely to take ownership of their work and produce high quality results. First thing you got to do though is set clear expectations. Employees need to know what's expected of them in order to be held accountable for their performance. You have to make sure that you set clear goals and objectives to communicate them to the employees in a way that is easy to understand. And we may not always do that. And so you want to use SMART goals. You also want to make sure that you're providing regular feedback. Employees need to know how they are performing in order to improve their work. Provide regular feedback, both positive and negative, so employees can identify areas where they need improvement. And I would say ask them for the feedback as well, so that you will also know where you need regular improvement as a owner or director. You want to empower your employees. Employees need to be given authority and resources to make decisions and take action. When employees are empowered, they're more likely to take ownership of their work and be accountable for the results. And as a supervisor, you have to hold people accountable. When employees do not meet expectations, it is important to hold them accountable. That doesn't mean punishing employees, but rather providing them with support and guidance they need to improve their performance. And of course, let's not forget to celebrate our success. It is important to recognize and celebrate employees who achieve success. When employees are recognized for their accomplishments, they're more likely to perform at a high level and to continue to perform at a high level. You need to create a culture of trust. Employees need to trust their managers and colleagues in order to be held accountable. Create a culture of trust by being honest, being open, and transparent. And I can tell you, my staff will tell you, I am so transparent, it's not even funny. Probably tell them more than I should, but I feel like we are all on the same team and we all are working for the same goals. So I try to let them know every part of the decision making that I'm making for the company, why I'm making it, why it's necessary, and their part in it. And when you do that, they definitely trust you so much more. You want to encourage employee involvement. Employees are more likely to be accountable when they're involved in the decision-making process. Encourage employee involvement by soliciting their input and feedback. And make sure that they can do it in a way that feels comfortable to them. Sometimes they don't really want to tell the boss what they really think for fear of whatever, whether it's fear of that you're going to retaliate in some kind of way, or that you're going to think that their idea is stupid or not worthy, or that their feedback is not valid. So try to be fair. And the more that you ask for the feedback and the way that you respond, the better you're going to do with getting that feedback. Set a good example. Managers need to set a good example by being accountable for their own actions. When managers are accountable, employees are more likely to follow suit. You kind of have to walk the walk, guys. You have to be a good role model. You want to be consistent. It's so important to be consistent when holding employees accountable, and do not hold some employees to a higher standard than others. I see it all the time. I see, some folks getting written up for being in uniform and then not being in uniform, and then others who are not in uniform don't get written up, or same thing with PD, or, giving people extra time. Some people have to meet a timeline. Other people get, extra time. You want to be consistent, and you want to be fair. You also want to be supportive. When holding employees accountable, it's important to be supportive. Provide employees with support and guidance they need to improve their performance. You want to use data to track performance. Data can be used to track employee performance and identify areas where improvement is needed, and use the data to hold employees accountable for their results. So if you rate somebody up for being out excessively, what is that number? Is excessively meaning anything over 10 call-outs in 60 days or 6 months? Or is it 50 days out of 356? Like, you have to have a number. It's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable. They have to know, what is considered excessive call-outs. For some folks, you call out 5 times in a year and you think you've called out a lot. And other people, they might have called out for 3 months out of the year and don't think they take that much time off. So you have to have something that is the measure for everybody. You can use technology. It's a great support for accountability to provide employees with access to performance data and feedback. When you use technology to hold employees track on progress and stay accountable. So one great way would be is if you have some type of electronic tool, whereas each employee meets specific tasks and timelines, they're able to check it off and everybody is able to see it. And you want to reward employees for being accountable. Rewarding employees for being accountable can help reinforce the importance of this behavior. Consider offering rewards for employees who consistently meet or exceed expectations. Now, I know that I've seen on so many Facebook groups about call-outs, so that's why I bring it up a lot. Maybe perhaps you have an attendance reward. If you come into work X amount of days, you get XYZ. So instead of punishing the behaviors you don't want or having to have the conversation about call-outs all of the time, maybe you start rewarding the folks who come in all the time. And then you want to make sure that you continuously improve. The culture of accountability, it's a journey. It's not a destination. Continuously working to improve your culture of accountability in your organization. Seek feedback from your employees and make adjustments as needed. So those are just a few little tips on what you can do right now today to start to get your team to be accountable. I also want to remind you it's equally important for you. So when you walk into work tomorrow, everybody doing what they're supposed to. Catch people doing good. Stop looking for people who aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Look for the people who are and start there, because it's going to feel much better. And then build off that. Great job, Susie, for getting your CPR in the time frame that I asked. Great job, Susie. Great job, Johnny. Great job, Billy. Guess what? If you only have one person on your team who didn't meet that expectation, then you know that you were clear as to what was expected. You were clear with the timeline. And so I would check in with that one employee, but only after you recognize the folks who did what you asked. Then check in with that other person and say, hey, I noticed you were not able to complete your CPR. What can I do to help you to get it done by such and such date? So that's it for today in terms of tips. I would, again, like to ask you to please give us a review. Hop over to Apple, give us a review. It really does help. And I appreciate you. As always, have a great day.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.